We're not warmed up.
Well, I don't know. I don't really have. I mean, I got lots of stuff, but I don't have my act together.
All right, we'll take a second.
Do you have your act together? Do you have your act together?
Well, it is what it is.
This is
This is no act.
All right, let's just go live. We'll fix everything else. I'll just fix it later. Remember that Bill O'Reilly bit back when he was on some show that was like
Oh yeah.
and he was yelling at they couldn't get the read in right. And he was screaming. And said, "We'll fix it later. I'll do it live." That kind of thing. Hey, good morning, John.
Good morning, Doug.
In the morning with Doug and John. Hey, we're actually doing this one in the morning.
We are.
And we're actually doing this one on a Thursday. My favorite day of the week to say. Do you have a favorite day of the week to pronounce or to?
Yeah, Wednesday is.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
nice one. Yeah, Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people they ers it, especially I think Midwesterners.
I think that's from the god of Mars or something like that.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, the god of war.
Oh, is it really? Is it a war day?
I think something like that. Yeah.
Now it's becoming my least favorite day to say. You know, one of those beatniks, one of those peace necks, one of those
Goodness conspirators,
possibility evangelists. You know, I have that on my profile. Do you know that?
Yeah, I just saw
that. Yeah, I write that stuff up, and I get messages from people saying, "What do you mean by a possibility evangelist?" And I don't know if they're more bothered by the evangelist or by the possibility word.
Oh,
I don't know what I don't know what the beef is. So I often don't write them back when they say.
Well, that'll show them.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably some of your friends of the flock who, if you're talking about evangelism, it's got to be specific. You know?
Yeah. That's a trigger word.
Yeah.
To borrow a phrase from counseling.
You're diluting.
Yeah.
You're diluting there, Doug.
But I'm comfortable with it. Hey, John, how come we're able to do it in the morning? Do you think what came together that got us into Thursday morning?
You asked me yesterday, and I said yes.
Yeah.
No, I think it your schedule allows it, and I don't have anything. I'm just on my way to work. So
yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. And speaking of that, congratulations on the work bag that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, my work issued laptop bag. Right.
That you have a black, and of course it's a black.
Yeah.
With silver accents on the zippers.
Multiple storage compartments and made out of nylon.
Is there?
There's a closet at my workplace that's just full of these things.
It just is. I mean, it's so.
You know what was
so worky,
so bad about it? I was looking for something in the bag, and in one of the pockets, I pulled out someone else's business card.
I was going to ask you if it's that thing you have to tell yourself every time you go into a hotel, which is, no, someone else was not sleeping in here 6 hours ago. No, someone else was not standing in the shower. No, someone else was not leaning over the sink. No one else was sitting on this toilet. You just live in this like
touching this remote.
False delusion, and you just hopeful against all hope that the power of antiseptic is what we all think it is.
I mean, I resisted the urge to look up this person to see what happened to them in the company, but
he was slinging that bag around, carrying it.
I'm just assuming they just didn't need it. Maybe
got a promotion, got a better bag.
Yeah,
that's what you have to assume. He moved up to the patent leather bag.
Well, when you don't have to bring your computer home, that's a promotion.
Oh. Hey, maybe you're onto it. Yeah. Is it a work issued computer too?
Yeah, it's actually at work though. It's a big old HP. It does everything.
Oh, laptop, a big silver,
and I've got a dock. It like snaps into this contraption that's got a bunch of wires attached to it. It's pretty cool. You just snap it in there, click a button, push power.
You're off and running.
Off and running.
And then it's up on big monitors and you use a wireless keyboard, that sort of thing?
I do use a wireless keyboard, and I've got a lot of monitors because I have to look at x-rays and stuff. So. Mm-hmm.
Hey, speaking of just...
Who'd have thunk? I swear. I was just told Robin last night,
it's
51 or 2 or however old we are.
52.
Is really a late in the game to be stretching yourself. At least for me, it feels. I feel a little old,
to be living in a new world.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think you're doing great.
Thanks.
I think you do. I mean, I know you.
As are you, Doug.
Thanks.
And happy anniversary.
Yeah,
by the
thank
way.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
30 years of marital commitment.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and Shelley likes to remind everyone, and we were together for 5 years before that.
Oh boy,
I don't know why. I thought once we reached the 25-year marriage state that the 5 years of being together, and we were dating, like we were high school and college age peoples.
Would just get grandfathered in.
Yeah, would just be absorbed as a rounding error.
Yeah.
Nope. Still another 5.
She wants credit for that time.
Yeah, time served. Time served.
Right.
She's like it's like the trial when we got arrested in Washington D.C. in this protest that I did, and we were threatened with jail time. The 2 days that from the day we were arrested and the day we were arraigned overnight in prison, that counts as 2 days. Prison time is sometimes it's longer, but sometimes it's also shorter.
Right? Yeah.
Like Sundays don't count or something. I don't know. There's some weird math around all this. But it was a 3-day jail sentence we could be facing, but 2 of the days counted as the day we were arrested. As soon as they put you into custody, and it's
the clock starts ticking.
And at any minute in that day, that counts as a full day, right? So if you're arrested at 11:30 p.m., that's a day. That's still a day if they take you into custody that day. So Shelley wants that kind of thing. Like, no, I served a good solid 5, having to warm up to this character.
And and maybe it has something to do with like maybe the higher the years, the better the stone or something that you. Isn't there something like? Isn't there?
We've never done it. We've never done any of the. Oh, it's silver.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gold. Yeah. Oh, it's. This thing just on our 30th wedding anniversary really underplayed it because I feel like it's important because it's a new number from 29.
Yeah,
a new first number.
You've been in the 20s for a while.
Yeah 10 years.
Yeah.
This is why we like doing this. We're funny.
Yeah. Hang on a second.
Yeah. We think we're funny. Yeah. But other than that, it feels like it's a throwaway number. Like it's one where people are like, oh yeah, extra. Like we got extra hearts on Facebook status updates. Comments. That was it. Because it was 30.
Mm-hmm.
But 25, 50, like those feel like the ones you pay attention to.
Okay.
I don't know for me. But we went for a bike ride. Shelley worked all day, I worked all day, and then we said it is our anniversary. We should make sure we do something together, which we like to do. We've been together a lot over the last couple of weeks, knowing our 30th anniversary was coming, so we traveled together and stuff. But on that day, the 23rd of July, we rented those Lime bikes, which are new to the Twin Cities and are barnstorming the country, taking over.
Are those electric or what?
Well, these are not. These are pedal bikes, but they have the two sisters of the Lime offering are these bicycles and then the electric scooters, which you're hearing about. And the thing about the bikes and the scooters is, unlike the old days a year ago when you'd rent a bike, you had to bring it back to a particular docking station.
Right.
These, wherever they are, you just open up the app on your phone. It unlocks the bike from this little gear on this little box on the back that holds the tire. If you don't have a permission to ride it. And
is everything okay?
Not very loud. The sound is quiet. What is happening? All right. Thank you, person.
I have found the sound to be quite low when I played it back on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? This nice person. Thank you, nice person. For the love. Yeah, this is top quality. There. How about that? Friend of mine? Is that working? You found the volume to be quite low.
Yeah.
I'm bothered by that.
Mm-hmm.
I pay a lot of attention to the sound. Is it your speakers? Could it be your speakers?
Could it be my speakers?
What was that?
I listen to other things in the speakers, Doug, and they work fine.
Well, can you give me a list of what those are? Because I'd like to compare their audio quality.
I'll send you an email.
It wasn't coming through the microphones into the iPad, which then is sending to the Mevo, which then is posting live to the internet.
Oh, what was it doing?
Better, thank you. I don't have my glasses. I can't read anything.
It says better.
Who is the person? Bob, Rod, Carolyn.
Oh yeah, it's Bob Tyson. Awesome.
Bob Tyson. Hi, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
You get anybody watching this.
Yeah.
And you just like, what do you need? What can we do for you? It's like
you need requests, Bob.
Yeah. How are you today, Bob?
Yeah. The anniversary, the bikes.
Yeah, I've switched some thought on that. Well, anyway, so these bikes, boy, I'll tell you what, the technology, genius. The design of the bikes, they're as my friend said, they're a leisurely ride.
Oh, sure.
Like don't try to go smaller. The tires seem smaller for the size of the frame, but it's pretty nifty. You just open up your app. It shows you where the bikes are, and they could be anywhere. They're just sitting around. Now, Minnesotans,
like leaning up against a post,
and especially Minneapolitans, we are a kind people, so we tend to put them in proper places. We'll set them wherever they need to, like at a bike play. But ours were up at 50th and France at a bike rack, and saw them on GPS. Went up, shined open the app, and put the camera lens on the barcode on the back, and click, the bike unlocks from this lock on the back of the tire. And it just starts, and it's $1 for 30 minutes. You ride it wherever you want. When you're done, you just say done, unlock, and it locks it, and you just leave it there.
Wow.
And then somebody else finds it. Genius. And the scooters, which have to be charged, this is true of not just of the Lime company, but of all these scooter companies, what they're doing is asking people to earn credit to use the scooters by taking them with you to your work or home, plug them in, and you charge them, and then you just set them around. And then people find them, and then you can be part of the charging community and go scoop these little guys up, because they're scooters you stand on. They're like those Razor scooters almost.
Yeah.
So you can just throw them in your car, charge it up, bring it back, set it out somewhere the next day, and you're earning credits while charging it. They've democratized, crowdsourced the power. It's genius.
And so there must be some sort of GPS on them where they can just,
for sure, sophisticated GPS and connected to this app on your smartphone. So anyway, that feels. Thinking about Shelley and I being married 30 years ago, it's like being 52. I always go back to like 1966, the greatest year. The year when the Saviors were born.
Yeah.
And I realized I don't know anything about 1966. I was a baby then.
Yeah.
But 1988, I have a very clear memory of what life was like in 1988. So that 30-year period of marriage, how little has actually changed. Like, it's shocking. There are things in my house that we got that day I still have in you. Like, this idea that, like, 30 years, the world is going to be so different. Well, sort of, some technology stuff, but we just rode our bike down and rode around part of Lake Harriet, which we had done in 1988. It's like the same thing. There's some food. We're just on a different bike. It was a little shocking about how similar life is in 2018 as it was in 1988.
But yet, a lot of differences. You didn't have to, haul your bike to the lake or, ride there. You just. Right. Yeah. Where did you end up dropping that thing off at?
Just left it at Lake Harriet, put it in the bike rack there, and just had done. Oh, it just feels so. It's not disposable because somebody else picks it up.
Yeah,
but it feels like the plastic water bottle
done
of
with
bikes.
You. Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it over there, and if I put it in the right container, good on me.
Yeah.
If not, what do I care?
Yeah.
They know who dropped it there, I guess. So.
Right.
And I have a new friend that I picked up through the radio show, Mark from Fridley.
Uh-huh.
And Mark is very attuned to and concerned about the role of the government in privacy. So when these cats here, that guys like me, are using your smartphone, and saying, "Yes, Lime, you can follow my location," their minds are just. And I just think if the government wants to do, or anybody wants to do bad things with all of my data, and what they're waiting for is for me to click on that, yes, I give you permission.
Yeah.
I'm fooling myself. if I don't give them permission or don't open that app or don't download that one, then they won't be able. They've got a friggin' phone that's connected.
Yeah,
like however the AT&T or whomever can find me to make my phone ring, they've got me. Like this business that just be careful about what you download. I just think you are fooling yourself, friends. You're in the we're trapped in the matrix. End of game.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny how we used to be able to think, oh, they're not doing that. Like it wasn't. We thought, no, we're safe.
Sure.
And then just kind of overnight or whatever, like, okay, well,
sure they are.
Obviously,
of course they are.
Right. Like Snowden kind of woke us up to all that.
Yeah. Well, that sneaker was doing that stuff anyway. I mean, there's the pot calling the kettle black. Guy that's involved in that business, Edward the Russian.
Any national news you'd like to discuss, Doug?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's been. I haven't watched the news for a few minutes here, but I think Donald Trump's still president. I don't think he's resigned yet. I've heard that's coming though.
I haven't read.
I was listening to a radio show yesterday, and they were.
Was it your own?
Yeah, it was my own.
Okay.
And the host was saying, "I really think it's imminent. I think it's coming." I'm now in my own cycle. It just continued. I mean, it was only 10 days ago that Donald Trump stood next to Vladimir Putin and genuflect the United States to the storyline of the Russians, which I still think July 16th is going to be
notable.
The day the music died. And yeah, it just continues at every possible level. Donald Trump, going around like a gangster, breaking the legs of farmers, and then coming and giving them some crutches to use for a while, and saying you just have to live through a little pain before I can make things better. Screwing up tariffs, screwing up international deals, and then acting like he's the hero. It's so delusional, and this whole crowd around him, his administration, his cabinet, these Republicans, they are just it is to watch a Republican Party, of which I used to find great affiliation with, debase itself like this is just absurd. It is simply and completely absurd.
Yeah, it seems like that. A lot of them are, either afraid of drawing his wrath. I mean, some are not. Or they're just writing this out and trying to get as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, and I look, being a congressperson especially is something I would aspire to and do aspire to and ask for your vote. But on the par, it's not that big of a deal to be a congressperson, right? You're pretty limited. You're one of 400 and some odd. You're paid $120,000 a year, which is kind of a lot for some people, but a lot of people who have the capacity to be.
Your re-election cycle is so quick. I mean,
so
constantly.
Well, this is the thing: is that it's not all the pressure on them to stay in it and stay. Like if you maintain your sense of being a congressperson, I know to a lot of us will think, well, that's where all the power. It must be where all the power is, because why else would someone want to do it? But the truly powerful people, they don't want to be Congress people. They want a puppet. So it makes you ask yourself, why would someone, what is it that makes someone become so easily swayed and debased to just be a Congress, just to win re-election? Like if you've already been one, you've already got the bona fides, you've got it on your resume, you're for the rest of your life, you're like a frickin' veteran, you get to be encouraged about that service for the rest of your life, where, I feel like you're a school teacher who do really hard work. Nobody says 20 years after you retired from being a school teacher, thanks for your service, and can we pay for your medical care for the rest of your life?
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Anyway, so what is it that these people think they're getting out of it? They're just truly
ego and esteem,
I guess, and that's what's pathetic. Like you don't really even have something to stand for. You didn't even want to go down with the morals that you said 6 years ago when you put together your first campaign to become a congressperson. The thing you told the reason you said during Barack Obama's administration that you were going to be a congressperson. Now you just sold it all. You just got rid of all of it. You just. Blah. It's just so, and I watch these because I obsess on this stuff like Rain Man.
Yeah,
I'm like Wapner's on at 4. I just can't think about anything else. So I'm just watching these people day after
the
day.
C-SPAN
after,
app.
Yeah. Oh, it's not C-SPAN. I'm mainlining this. I'm mainstream mainlining.
Mainlining, yes.
Well, how come I feel so comfortable turning to you for drug references?
Yeah, I'm a wise man. Maybe
you are.
Yeah.
You're worldly. You're a man of the world.
Never done that though.
But you know what it is.
Oh yeah.
You pay attention.
Mm-hmm, I do.
Hey, did you see this Sergio Marchionne, the Fiat Chrysler head?
No, I knew that he was ill.
You know who he is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he was a big deal. President Obama wrapped him all up and said, "Save General Motors, Sergio."
And was he a younger guy? Or,
yeah, 59, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Went in for shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
Died.
Yeah.
Died. Like this guy is, I don't know if he's all that healthy. They said he smoked a lot. He drank a lot of espresso. I mean, there's sort of some of the story. But complications with shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
This is what freaked me out about my own life. Like saying to the anesthesiologist, like, I don't want to die.
Right.
Like, no, that doesn't happen. When it happens to a super wealthy, powerful person, this is where, because a lot of us think, well, healthcare only goes bad when someone doesn't have the means to have the very best.
Yeah. Steve Jobs. So, yeah.
I mean, shoulder surgery, you don't recover. You have a heart problem that they didn't know about, and dead. Holy moly.
Yeah.
We don't have a chance, John.
I probably think about that more than a person should.
You're dying?
Well, I mean, you do think about that stuff.
Who does?
I do. Like when that guy died, I'm like, okay, if I die when he dies, I have 7 years left.
Yeah.
I do a little math in my head.
Do you think you know when you're going to die? Do you have a thing?
I think there were phases, like in parts in my 40s where it it's this existential nagging or whatever. But then I think when I got to be around 50, and then looking at my mom still kicking, I'm like, I think I'm just going to be one of those people who's going to live for a really long time.
Yeah, in your 90s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah,
one of those kids. I'm going to die in 2042, I think.
All right, I'll set my clock to that later.
Yeah. Could be 2043 because I would still be 76. I just had the sensibility, which my family hates when I talk about. I'm glad they don't listen to any of this because they would send me a message.
Robbins Company is in association with others is developing tech where they, with a swab, there are certain markers of your found in your saliva where they can estimate how old you will be when you die. And it's for the purposes for them selling their life insurance because it's kind of like a gamble, And
it's like an estimate within like 10 years. Like is it because that's not as useful, right? If it's like you have the chance of dying between age 70 and 85.
Well, it's one of the components because they got to take in a lot of other factors regarding the individual, but and then they have the University of Minnesota who does their lab work.
Ooh.
So it's not like some
23andMe crowd
some
over in
mini mall that's
in Nevada, right outside Las Vegas, where
that's got a white room with a bunch of Asians in there, doing all the lab work.
Where the property was cheap. Yeah. They were saving. That's where they're making their money.
But it's something that they're that there's certain things that they can gives them a range.
Yeah.
So they say.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm going to die when I'm 76. I don't know. Maybe it's because my parents died around that age. But it's sort of all, and I notice when people die at age 76.
Yeah,
like in the news. Like, yep. There's another one. It's a shockingly common age to hear for people dying. I'm sure these statistics are available somewhere. Maybe Bob could do something better with his internet.
Some people are going to be listening to this and going, "Geez, guys!"
And look it up, but he could look up because life expectancy I think is about 76 for men, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, like 74, 72.
That low.
It may have gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear that the the cave boys, as they're now being referred to in Thailand,
Yeah.
have been initiated and ordained as Buddhist novices.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, if you spend a month inside of a dark cave fearing the end of your mortality, that pretty much makes you a Buddhist novice, a Buddhist monk in the making. That's so there's a picture of them. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh yeah, it's great. They're all in their orange.
With a drum, and they look like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these poor boys. First of all, I put onto some aggressive soccer team. Then they go with their young soccer coach.
Right.
Then they're forced into a cave where they have to stay.
I'm gonna make men out of you, boys.
And then they get out. They get all of their heads shaved. Now they're all like these boys are getting bossed around. These boys are not living out some sort of Thai teenage freedom run.
The coincidence that all of them would want to become Buddhist novices at the same time, I think, is pretty dubious, to say the least.
Yeah. I don't know why there'd be a bunch of Asians in that lab.
Doug?
Yes.
Do you like having massages?
Oh, so much.
You do?
Yes.
Would you like to be massaged by a 110-pound Burmese python?
Well, I just never. The end of that sentence really changed my feeling. I don't know. I mean, having not thought about it until now, boy, if they're slithering around, because sometimes when I've had a Thai massage in Thailand and here, and they know how to use all the limbs of their body to make this long pushing stroke. I can imagine a python being a real delight.
Have you ever had a Philippine massage?
No.
Because you need to go to the Crocodile Park at Davao City to be massaged by a 50-kilogram albino Burmese python.
Really?
Yeah. It actually exists.
It exists.
Yeah.
And it goes around your neck and stuff? Like
they just,
your whole body?
Well, they just throw the thing on you and
you just hope for the best.
So they say, though, however, the key to enjoying the snake massage is to relax. Like any other massage, Burmese pythons are very friendly, but they can sense if you are tense, and that makes them uneasy.
Oh, come on. Like you're responsible for the emotional sense of the python.
Your life may depend upon it.
That is a deeply passive-aggressive relationship. Well, I got tense because you were tense. Can't the python self-regulate the python's emotional sensibility?
I know, but
by python's self?
So like they eat once a month or something like that. So
they fill them up. I imagine.
For 30 days they're just crawling all over steaks. And then the one day, it's feeding time.
That seems just unnecessarily reckless.
I bet some people are really into it.
Oh, I would imagine. Yeah, there's that crowd of people that are super into pythons and snakes. I mean, not only the churchy people.
Never trust a woman who's into snakes, Doug.
Is that true? Is that a truism?
It's not biblical.
I see. Eve. Is this an Eve reference?
Hey, any chick who's into snakes, that's a wild gal right there.
Yeah, well, maybe I could use a little bit of that. Not as a friend. I just need a snake friend. Hey, did you see that they are pretty sure that they've detected a giant underground lake on Mars? Do you care about that?
Yeah, I do. I'm fascinated by space and stuff, but like them making all of these interpretations of what the heavenly body looks like just by, analyzing gas, then they're postulating all these things. How in the hell they know there's a lake in Mars?
Yeah. Well, as someone who...
Show me the water.
As somebody who uses radiation technology to see what's inside of the human body and tells a radiologist, you have an advantage to understanding how they do this.
I'm listening.
The Mars rovery, whatever, the floaty one that's floating around the atmosphere, not the one driving on the ground, which just in and of itself, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Like, my life hasn't changed much since my wedding day, but dang, they figured out how to, land something with tires on Mars.
Yeah, we got a radio-controlled dune buggy doing donuts up there.
Driving around. Apparently they can see through infrared blah 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 that this is happening. and they're pretty sure. In fact, I heard just yesterday for the first time the reason why life on the surface of Mars, as we would consider life, or I think would be sort of just generally our expression of life, isn't possible, but it could be possible underground. And it's because Mars, while being very Earth-like in a lot of its features, does not have the magnetic field around it that protects and bounces off the sun's radiation. So everything on the surface of that planet
is just getting radiated like hell, huh?
It's just getting nuked all the time. So below the surface, they think this microbial life could exist in the water there because the surface protects from the radiation.
You know, I mean, because that always makes me think of and it doesn't always make me think.
No, this one time it did. Yeah.
It makes me think of Fukushima.
Yeah.
Where, like, the radiation is so intense, like, the most protective gear we have, men could only go in there for a short period of time.
Right.
Like, we have not developed a suit that could withstand the radiation that is, where you could just work in there for hours and hours.
Huh.
And I guess that would be up on Mars. You could,
I guess
only, probably would be a time frame that you could hang out up there.
On Friday, I'm going to be chatting with my friend who's an astrophysicist, Paul Wallace, Dr. Paul Wallace.
Really?
Yeah. Talked to him last Friday on the that AM 950 radio show, which I need to figure out, podcast listeners, how I get all that into my podcast feed. It's not figure it out. I just need someone to take the time to download that audio and repost it into my feed because apparently I'm too busy to do 6 minutes worth of work.
Yeah, so it's really not knowledge that you're lacking. It's just
effort,
will to do it.
But I've got some tips from the self-help tips. But Paul, I'm going to ask him because I realized after this story about Mars, I don't understand how the magnetic field works and why it can keep out radiation. I use things like the magnetic field or electromagnetism, and I think that's the big frontier for us to. If we spent the 1800s understanding biology, and we spent the early 1900s understanding physics, and we spent the late 1900s understanding chemistry, electromagnetism is the frontier that's going to be unbelievable, right? And then we're going to understand things about ourselves and interconnection. Because,
magnets, they're the future?
Well, the magnetic field that exists that we all operate in, that keeps the radiation away, apparently, and North and South Pole and all this.
Allegedly.
Is the thing that I think we're going to start to understand more deeply and see a kind of connection between each other. That kind of what we've tended to call off into the spiritual and the woo-woo-y stuff. I think we're going to start to recognize this in that way. But I don't understand.
Well, birds get it.
There you go. That's how they fly, right?
Right.
Or that's how they know their direction and all that stuff.
It seems like instinct, but there's something in there that's guiding them to the, same place in South America every day, every year.
But I don't. I just need a little more help with it. And I posted this article. I think you commented on it. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. That every once in a while in the geological history of the world, of the planet, the polar electromagnetism shifts,
right?
and all the things in our technologies that are built around the expectation, and that's going to just throw everything into topsy-turvy world, and all that we know electronically is going to, and that could be 30,000 years from now, or it could be tomorrow.
Does Minnesota then turn into Brazil?
It doesn't affect the weather, but it would affect the
satellites flying around this
all
planet.
That stuff, all the things. Anyway, it's
all the things.
It's a big cataclysmic unveiling. So anyway, I've been thinking about that since we were last together.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Do you like to work out?
So much.
Yeah.
But not on my muscles.
Do you like to work out naked?
I don't know. How is that? How do I not have an immediate answer to that question?
Well, because
near naked.
Eric Stagno, 34, likes to work out naked.
Oh, does he?
And express that at a local Planet Fitness by shucking off all of his clothes at the entrance, placing them on the desk, and proceeded to do some stretches, and then went over to the yoga area and began to do yoga buck naked.
Oh my gosh! And he couldn't be a nearly nude; he had to be a fully nude. Like you can get super close to being naked and still have it, especially for men. You got a little coverage. I mean, it's really minimal. That still would, you know.
Which is, I mean, I think that's part of the allure for me for yoga is just knowing that everybody is nearly naked in that room.
Yeah,
you know,
and they're naked under their clothes. You know that old joke.
Especially there.
I walk around naked under my clothes.
When police approached Mr. Stagno, they said, "What are you doing?" He pointed to the wall and said, "Well, I thought this was a no judgment. This was a judgment-free zone, which is painted in big letters at all Planet Fitnesses."
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other wall it says "No critics." And so he's like, "Hey,
I'm living in the freedom."
Planet Fitness members reported feeling sick, unsafe, and disgusted by Stagno's nudity and behavior.
Well, I would too, and I am right now actually, because I without a picture, I've had to just sort of imagine the hairline of this fella and what a downward dog would create. You know,
he looks like either like Messiah or heroin addict.
Yeah,
he's got a full beard.
Whole deal.
Yeah,
but he's got a membership at the Planet Fitness.
Apparently.
So he's keeping up on the auto payment. Maybe he prepaid for the year, the $89 or whatever it is to be a member for a year.
Probably the only reason why it closed was to hold the swipe card to get into place.
Where does he keep that? Well, I don't want to know where he could keep that. I've lost my train of thought now because I can't stop thinking about what this fellow looks like.
Yeah.
Well, that's
fantastic.
Fantastic. I mean, just in so many. Did the police take him away? Do you know? Did you get that
he's
far?
Been he's charged with
oh boy,
indecent exposure.
Oh, I was going to say that
lewdness and disorderly conduct.
You know the freedom nudie people.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, not as interesting.
Yeah. There you go.
This is so meta.
Get a mental picture of that.
If you just listen,
American up in the space station.
On the podcast, John is showing the people in the space station via the Mevo, his computer screen.
He looks quite astute.
I know
that means hairy, Doug.
Some of the people. Thank you. I'm still uncomfortable with German. I want to be forgiving.
That's a change from last week.
Yeah, as a change from I don't know, like
1938.
Yes, truly. I mean, there's a lot of explaining to do. I'm uncomfortable with a lot of the major powers in our world's history, but I can't shake that one. A lot of the people who support nakedness, will say it's this very thing that we're sickened. We're just by the human body is really a problem, and they have a point there. I would just say until we've overcome that, let's keep our nudity to a more inner circle of people in our lives. But it really is a thing that we are sickened by the showing of certain parts of the human body to one another or to ourselves. It's that's a point well made by the.
Get nothing but amens out of me.
Yeah. We would be better if we used clothing as a choice and comfort and not out of a emotional and moral necessity.
God, could you get
That's pretty good, right there.
Could you get more
erudite?
Progressive? Yeah, I mean, jeez.
well, wouldn't we? I mean, I'm just saying, generally speaking.
Well, I think it has like the set and the setting. You know, it's like, hey, many people are okay with nudity, but like you kind of want to be able to control when that occurs. When I was a pastor, I went to this.
Here we go.
I went to this performance. There was a gentleman in our church who was going to be playing guitar. Okay, he's kind of like a homeless person, so this was important that we show up and support this guy.
Him. Yeah.
So it was at Patrick's Cabaret. Okay,
I know it well.
And so he gets up there and plays his thing, and it's great, you know. And there's like about 6 of us from the church there. Then the next performance gets up, and it's this woman who's reading poetry.
Yeah.
While this other woman is topless, has like these panties, and where her privates are, there's a red flashing light, and she's doing this interpretive dance for like 7 minutes.
Okay.
And so if maybe in another setting, I would have been enjoyed what was going on there. But because it was unexpected and I was with other religious people, it was very uncomfortable, and I rather enjoy the female form, and but in that setting, so
was Bob Thiessen with you at that thing?
I don't know if Bob was there or not.
He seems to be indicating that he might have been.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So there are times, and that's what I'm getting at. Like if we would use nakedness, nudity, unclothedness, our natural, as when it is appropriate for the benefit, as opposed to the need to self-cover. Because the funny thing is, there's a lot of people whose fear, whose unwillingness to see nakedness goes as far as not wanting to see themselves naked.
Oh,
I mean, I have that feeling. So you're going to stand in front of a full-length mirror. Our friends, the Barnhills.
It's fantastic.
To implicate them in this horribleness.
Oh, their bathroom?
Their bathroom.
You can't escape from your form in there.
Yes, full-length mirrors all around the bathroom. They have since remodeled it, so I don't know if they've put in like special skinny mirrors that make you look better. But Carly used to mention, like, who thought this was a good idea to at every like on three of the 4 walls, it was mirrors, so you're catching a glimpse all the way around. So that being the point, that our discomfort with the naked body isn't only other people's; it's very often our own, and that's just part of the human inability to live well with ourselves.
And unfortunately, I think we live in a time where
we do.
The suddenly appearance of a naked man could indicate violence is imminent, especially for a woman.
Totally.
And, so that's where, I can imagine, like, what's going to happen next?
Yes.
With this.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's terribly unsafe.
Yeah.
Right. It's the way I feel when a person shows up in a police officer's uniform. Feel like things are not going to go well now with that setup, that presentation of oneself to the rest of the world. Hey, you wanted to talk about some things that we like.
Yes, let's do it.
Should we do that now?
Mm-hmm.
What brought this on? This sudden burst of creativity that came in a late night text from you.
Well, no, I always thought that would be a good thing for us to, like. There's things that are just kind of unique, like, to us, like that maybe we've come across, or this is some weird thing, or this is my favorite orange juice, or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
Something that kind of gives you a little pleasure. I just want to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
something came immediately to mind when I read your text. Immediately.
What is it, Doug?
Do you want to go first?
Or do you want to go first?
No, I kind of want you to go first.
You want me to go first?
Well, because that was your idea.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering if what I came up with, because I don't know what your thing is, I wondered if what I came up with in my mind was the kind of thing you're getting at, because I'm a little concerned that my immediate response is way off.
Oh, okay.
From where this is.
Well, I don't think there's no wrong answers, because if this is something that you like, then that's
don't give me that stuff.
As weird as it could be. I'm serious.
Okay.
So one of my favorite things is isolated Van Halen vocals. Go to YouTube and just hit isolated Van Halen vocals. Is that on?
I have no, that turns off.
Okay. And you will find such goodness as this.
Wow.
Yes, I'm living at a base that kills. Ooh, yeah. Running with the devil.
Wow. I mean, nothing says John Music like that isolated vocal. That is really something.
Yeah, so go ahead
the pleasure on your face right now is just pure.
And there's a whole bunch of those tracks, and you can even find tracks with the vocals removed, and it's really, I mean, it's the testimony to the production that how when they put all of these parts together, it really just is fantastic, know.
Yeah.
And this vocal is particularly good. There's some David Lee Roth isolated vocals that are like, wow, that's not. It's a little rough.
but it's in the official. It's in the song. It's in the recording.
It is the actual vocal track. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's one of my favorite things. Oh, and there's
I
also
can see it on your face.
and there's also one of of Brad Delp from Boston singing "More Than a Feeling."
Oh yeah.
And it's just fantastic because he's like, it's just his voice, no tricks or anything.
Just him in 1976 or whatever that was.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, several of hymns, where they'll, have to record over and over.
Well, I even internet searched for photos. I'm going to put it up for people that are watching on the. Probably can't tell what this is on the screen there, but that, my friend, when you said let's talk about one of our favorite things, is the Wendy's apple pecan chicken salad.
Wow.
The full-sized Wendy's apple pecan chicken salad. Immediately, it's the best salad in the cities. And I don't care what cities you're talking about. The best salad there is.
Well,
this is a Yelp photo. It's not my photo.
Blue cheese.
I could have taken it because I've had it 3 times this week.
I see chicken.
There's chicken, and it's well, especially if you eat it right away after you've got it's still a little warm because they're grilled.
It's grilled fresh.
They're grilling it fresh and chopping it up.
And it looks like some candied pecans on there.
Yeah, the candied pecans, and then there's some craisins in there, or cranberries maybe. I don't know if they're craisins or that might be trademarked, but they're like it's a very sweet salad.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, the blue cheese and the Granny Smith apples chopped up.
Oh,
nearly a whole apple. And then Shelley tells me there's not enough dark greens on it, which is just not true. It's perfectly balanced. I mean, to the people in the kitchen, in the design kitchen, the Wendy, if you like a sweet salad with a little punch of blue cheese, you can even keep it off because they're putting them together fresh when you make it. So if someone didn't like the blue cheese, well, I think you should just go with another salad. But
go somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't know. Just go to the place where they don't have blue cheese. But it is so hearty and so good. So I even pulled up the all the calories and all. 420 calories in the full size.
Right,
I mean, it is
a meal.
It's a meal. It nourishes. The protein levels are great. Your fats are low. It's just terrific. I couldn't be a bigger fan of all things. And I take grief for this from people like you can't believe because I ask about it a lot.
Doug, there's a similar gleam in your eyes.
Is there?
Regarding the salad as there was in mine regarding the Van Halen vocals.
Oh, I'm just thinking like, do I have time to swing through? The packaging's a bit much, when you order one because you get the 2 of the vinaigrettes, the pomegranate vinaigrette dressings.
Oh, sure.
You get 2 of them with the full size. You only get 1 with the small size because you can't order a half. So you've got those 2 packages, and then the pecans come in a separate package.
Okay,
so that's another little baggy thing you've got to open.
Yeah,
and then you've got your top on your if you get it to go. There's a top on the plastic bottom, and then that's set inside of a bag, and then they put a knife and a fork in there, which are each also inside there. So the plastic content is a little high in the packaging.
Yeah,
if they wanted to know my opinion about that. But what's inside?
But you probably get all that same plastic if you ate it inside, though, too.
I think so. It's a little plastic
minus the
heavy.
bag.
Yeah. But then I'd have a tray, because I have eaten it inside on a number of occasions.
I'm sure.
But boy, if
I got a half hour,
and if you're looking for a quality $7 salad, if you were to grab a drink with it, you're still under $10. It's incredible. It's the best deal going.
Isn't that great to have just something that just gives you so much delight that other people may not be aware of, or there may be hundreds of thousands out there who are enjoying the hell out of that salad, Doug.
Well, there's got to be because Wendy's they have it all over the country. I happen to know. We were on a road trip to North Carolina and 2 weeks ago. and you have to, like where are we going to stop? Where are we going to eat? And I like to get fuel at every stop. So like if I have to put only like 3 gallons in, I do it. I just like I got a theory of driving.
Yeah, it's so Minnesotan.
Every time you stop, you fill it up. You just don't know. So you never want to be in a place where you have to stop for fuel.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Just be prepared. And
just takes a couple of minutes. You put in the 3 gallons. You're good.
So I was with Shelley and Brandon, and this came up that like if we're making lunch stops, I'm like, well, I'd go for the Wendy's. The full-sized apple pie.
How was that received amongst the...
Well, so it's interesting.
Did you get a quorum?
No, well, it's... there's 2 ways that people complain about about somebody like me eating an apple pecan chicken salad from Wendy's. One of those is, it's got to be bad food. There's just no way those people are set out to poison. Response, right? And there's some variations of that.
Sure.
Either they're intentionally poisoning or they're just so profit driven that they But I'm telling you, this thing I've had salads at the Co-op that are less quality than this little gem. Now I don't know about the hormone level in the chicken, but they tell me at Wendy's that they use hormone-free chickens. But anyway. But the other push is not just the quality of the food, it's the people who are less comfortable supporting the fast food industry as a whole and all the plasticky things that go around with it.
Yeah.
So, and that's a little I can't. I'm not in that argument. So I'm just like, yeah, I know that when I spent my $8 there, as opposed to my, and I'm not kidding you, $14 for a similar salad that I had to put together at Whole Foods. Somehow supporting that corporation, should pay a premium. Supporting the Wendy's people, not something that people are interested in. So I got a get a little bit of pushback until someone tries that little delight, and
right?
Then they're like, "Holy moly, I'm
sold.
I'm conflicted. Yeah. I'm now just conflicted about all this.
Well, I'll have to try that out sometime.
Would you?
I can't ever see me doing it. But
why? Because you don't care for salads. You don't like Wendy's. You're what's going on here?
Yeah, I guess if I'm rolling through one of those places, I'm there for a
burger and
the burger,
Frosty.
fries, and shake. Yeah, whatever.
Hey, John.
What's that, Doug?
Do you want to get good at accomplishing your goals?
I sure do, Doug.
Well, number one should be to not ever write a headline, which is want to get good at accomplishing your goals. But the people over at Inc.com wrote that.
Want to get good.
And then they said, master these 6 skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I think about you, because you're on such a roll of self-improvement.
Oh boy, yeah.
You're the quintessential encouragement that people's lives can take whole new turns. Homeowner. Fiance, corporate bag carrier.
Yeah, that's true. I did get a bag.
So you probably don't need this, but I thought of you as someone who's probably accomplished all 6 of these goals already.
Well, I'm just spinning plates, Doug, so whatever helps me to keep them aloft, it'll help.
Well, Bruce Eckfeld is an executive and team coach who helps individuals and teams set goals every day.
I can already feel that guy's weird energy. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, just reading the opening sentence
like
of his article.
You would meet that guy in a public place, and then after you heard what he did, you would be like, oh, that's why it felt weird being around him.
That's what it was, because he recognizes that very different teams have very different goals. And the ones who are most successful, regardless of their goals, they hold these 6 skills in common, which you can use to accelerate your success. I was having a great conversation with somebody the other day about the emotional pain that comes from achieving your goal. Because if you've been,
I got to admit, I don't have a whole lot of experience in that.
Well, you're on the right side of it then, because anyone who is pushed and you achieve your goal, immediately that goal is diminished, and because it's sense that it is something you want and can't get to makes it worth pursuing. And as soon as you get there, this feeling of like, well, this is it. This is now what it's like. Many of us had unintentionally infused that goal with all this other extra importance that it doesn't often carry. And then you're just Oh, and then
I've never felt that way after sex.
And
so
it shouldn't be your goal. It should be a relational experience that you're having. It's
those are good too.
All right. So, six skills to accelerate your success.
Okay.
Which then is
step
just
on,
as soon
step
as
on the gas.
as soon as you hit success, and then that success has been achieved, that is like, first of all, what's next? And then secondly, you're saying to yourself, how can I get back to the time when I was successful?
Boy,
because
yeah,
the
like
new goal
adrenaline
means you're immediately not successful. It's really unhealthy. There's a quirky first sentence or first tip in the way that they phrase it, because they try to make these things 3 and 4 words long. The tip,
yeah.
Polish your crystal ball. They suggest. The first thing to do is to develop your ability to see the future, and what they mean by that is having a powerful imagination in which you can envision yourself in future success will drive your motivation. Imagine yourself in that place of success.
Little bit of the secret there, isn't it?
Yeah. See it before you do it. Visualization.
And I know people shit on that a lot because it probably is, nuts. But I mean, there is something I think about, if you are around success or kinds of folks. There is just a natural emulation that I think begins to happen, and that's why wealth breeds wealth, in that sense, and so I think maybe in a similar way, if you don't have a defeatist attitude, or if you look at something and really decide that that's what you want and become focused on that and imagine you doing that's going to help perhaps be a better mindset for achieving that than just sitting around thinking you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I think that's true. And it's, people who study behaviors have been doing this longitudinal study, a long time study over time with a group of people around weight loss and weight gain. And the thing they found, this is over 30 years or something, and the thing they have found with a consistent group of people and adding new people in is that the weight of the people around you who are in your closest friend group is the most influential factor on your own weight. Curious, to your point. If you're around it, it just sort of happens and gets into you and does something.
Yeah, that's like normal. That's the normal.
That's the norm. And that imagination that you're seeing all the time, all the time outside of yourself. And then there's some other theories about that, but that kind of thing. So number one is polish up that crystal ball and get an imagination of yourself that's the positive future you want to live in.
So get on those balls, people.
Stop the down talking about yourself. Stop reading your journal. Number 2, get good at planning. I mean, which is just terrible advice.
Yeah.
But great goal setters know how to think through each steps to reach their objectives, which I think is utter BS. This goal setting and making a plan and executing your plan and plan your work and work your plan, I think that is just, not only is it bad for the human spirit, I don't think that's how it works for most people. I think most people realize they were working their plan, then something else happened that either derailed it or accelerated it that wasn't in their plan, and that's the thing that was the secret sauce. But you should have a plan anyway. Work the plan so you can create the space where,
the magic can happen.
The magic can happen. Number 3 of your 6 steps to master to accelerate your success, just do it. If you want to achieve your goals, you can't spend all day looking at your navel, unless one of your goals is to have a navel ring, and you're thinking about what that's going to look like. Yes, you need to think and plan, but more importantly, you need to actually take the action that you want, he suggests. Number 4, master the juke. This is why I picked it to talk about with you. That's literally what it is. Master the juke. Do you remember back in the 80s when juke was the word that they used for faking somebody out? Football players, or you juked to the left, you juked to the right, Juke.
I unfortunately have heard the term used regarding something else.
Oh, come on. How is this possible? That every single expression is also great running backs. Now I don't even.
Yes. Come on.
I don't even.
Teach me how to juke, Doug.
This is hilarious. Master the juke if you want to be successful. I don't even know what it is. All right, great running backs learn how to juke, avoiding tackles by dodging, weaving, and spinning to avoid defenders. They know how. They know that trying to square up and bash through their defenders usually is unsuccessful and will almost always cause them to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, same for those who are productively wise.
Well, I'm boycotting the NFL and all NFL metaphors, so I'm just going to take the beginning of what you said and connect it with the end there.
Okay, and apply it to something else where you have to spin, weave, and get yourself out of it, out of the problem. Well, that's what we should do with our obstacles. Don't use brute force, but spin, dodge, circle under, put a hand down on the ground. Do what you have to do to get yourself around that obstacle. Don't take them on head on. Get around them. Don't spend your time, don't spend your energy on the problem, trying to solve that problem. Avoid it. I like this a lot.
I'm not sure that's
high level avoidance.
The point.
That's what I got to, though.
Yeah.
Point 5 of 6 ways. Discover your inner Zen.
Mm-hmm.
They studied artists in the 1970s who were absorbed in their work to the point of not eating for days, and they discovered that these people earned a physical mental state of hyper performance, which they called the flow.
Mm-hmm. So a lot have been written on that here in the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's also just caloric deficiency and
hormone release.
Hormone release that's really bad for your body but causes you to survive. It's basic survival stuff.
Really? Is it flow state?
Yeah. But this person says that for some it's a nature retreat, for others it's a noisy coffee shop, but you find your place to get into that flow. But I think neurologists and neuroscientists are finding out a whole lot of things that the coachy people are like, yeah, that thing you're doing, it's actually burning you out. It's wearing you down. So that thing where you're going to go sort of deprive.
So you're like, no go with the flow.
I'm no go flow. That does remind me of the Flowbee. Like if we had advertisers on this, the Flowbee would be the first people we should go to. All right, number 6, you can't do anything. Hey, nice haircut, by the way.
Thank you. Kelsey did it at Jen's in Edina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to make a long-term appointment to?
I did it like one day out.
One day out.
Yeah. Oh, and she's adorable.
I've been going to
positively animatronic.
Two times I went to the Floyd's over there in Uptown.
Oh yeah, how was that?
I liked it, but now it's like takes like 5 days to get a haircut appointment. So
yeah, I bet that's
Tuesday. I just went over to Great Clips and had them take care of me.
There's a Jen's in Minneapolis too, somewhere.
You can do anything. Number 6. You can do anything you want, just not everything you want. It's a nice phrase.
Yeah.
I mean, they went for like 3 and 4 word ones until they got to the 6th one, and then they turned it into a compound sentence.
That is the way you should present that to an Enneagram 7.
Mm-hmm.
If you organize that sentence in any other way, that's going to turn me off.
But start with, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, okay.
Just not everything you want.
Oh, okay.
The fact is, we all have limits on our time and our energy.
Doug, are you listening?
We can't work. Hey, this is
the guy's been living in the flow state for.
I'm advice giver here. I mean, don't turn this around.
Physician, heal thyself.
Don't show me this full size bathroom mirror.
Pastor, save thyself.
We can't work on everything. Great achievers know that it's better to focus on one priority at a time and drive it to completion before changing course, which I do not think is true. I don't think any great leader says, you know what I did? I focused on one thing because everything else collapsed around you. But then you pulled up the one hair that you did finally discover, and meanwhile it all fell apart. So I don't buy that, but I do think it's true that one has to decide that maybe not everything all the time. So that's a little bit of not good advice from our advice bin this week.
Well, I really think we've made the world a little bit better today, Doug.
Well, better for me and you at least.
Yeah, I feel better.
Yeah, that's not bad. A lot of people go through the whole day and they don't make their morning better for anybody.
Shame on them.
Me and you and Bob.
Those people just need to try harder.
And poor Phil in Philadelphia. That had to suffer through all this too. But appreciate all of you being a part of this, listening. Those of you on the podcast that listen on the podcast, I promise I'm going to get other podcasts up here soon. It's been nothing but In the Morning with Doug and John in the podcast feed, and there's been so much that has gone on that I need to get into that podcast feed, but I need some help.
Yeah, I don't know anything of what he just talked about, but if it meant something to you, please heed it.
All right, goodbye on Facebook.
Goodbye.
And we always let the podcasters keep up the keep up the good work.
Get a little extra in there.
Yeah, sorry about that audio problem for people on Facebook. Now, when they go to listen, the sound's going to be low, and they're just going to be done immediately. They're going to say, "I can't hear it," and they're just going to move on to something else because
No, I think it's going to make them chase the dragon.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
going to look for all kinds of technological solutions.
I like the way you're thinking about
just
that.
to hear this gold. What time is it?
It really is pure gold. It's 8:49.
All right.
I have a very important call to be on in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I've got some place to be in 10 minutes.
Are you going to get there?
Well,
what if you're late?
I have that carte blanche now, Doug.
Who goes to work who has to be to work at 9? I always feel like
a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always felt that if you're in I have to be there, it's 8 or 8:30. If you're already into the 9 o'clock, it's because you don't have to be there at 9. It's just.
Well, I'm into the 9 o'clock for you, but I'm usually there at 8:30.
At 8:30.
But you need you need to be there at 5, so you got to come in a little bit later.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah,
see you next week.
That's the way the real world works, Doug.
Oh, does it?
Not you, podcasting with no underwear on.
Hey. I'm wearing a top. This should be enough.